Excuse my big ass, disgusting ass pimple. I don't know, I've been breaking out lately. I don't know, I've been stressed. I haven't been sleeping. Also, I will be wearing hats for the next couple of videos because my barber fucked up my hair and I don't like it. So, yeah.
I had enough combo for 24. I picked you from across the room. Pretty little body dancing like go-go.
What's up, you guys? It's Harvey Levon. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a story time video, and I will be talking about the time that I went to the pool. And yeah, so this was like a month ago or so. Okay, so I live in a complex. It's divided by two parts, the first part and then the second, and the pool is in the middle. So the people that live in the first part of the complex don't have access to the pool, but the second part of the complex does. Yet the pool is in the middle of the complex. So basically everybody has access. It's just that people from the first part of the complex are not allowed to go into the pool. I've been going to that pool for like 2 years and I've never been in trouble. So when I was in Puerto Rico, I bought a huge ass duck, which I'll put a picture right here. So I bought that duck and I brought it with me home. And so as soon as I landed in Florida, I was like, I gotta use this. So I went to the pool. Like, I wasn't doing anything bad, you know, everything was okay. So I was just chilling, and then it kind of started raining, so I was like, okay, like I should go home, whatever. So I was walking home, I had the duck in my back, and then I hear this man yelling at me. I'm like, hey, come over here, blah, blah, blah. So at first, I thought they were yelling at somebody else, because why would they yell at me? I wasn't doing anything wrong. And then as I kept walking, I kept hearing the voice getting closer and closer, but I never looked back because I was so nervous. I was like, who the fuck is yelling at me, like, for no fucking reason? Like, what the fuck? So I kept walking home, never turn around. I knock on the door and I'm like, mommy, can you open up? So she opens up the door and then she goes back to whatever she was doing. And so then I'm about to go in to the house, and then I see this man walking to my house, and I'm like, okay, who the fuck are you? And then he's like, hi, you know you're not supposed to be in the pool, right? And I was like, excuse me, who are you? So he was part of like the complex management, I guess. So then he was like, oh, you live in the first part of the complex, like you don't have access to a pool, you know that. And I'm like, sir, can you just get off my face? Like, I was just having a good time. I don't need my day to be ruined. And then he kept yelling at me and saying, oh, you trespass private property. Like, I just called the police and stuff. And I'm like, really? Like, are you serious? So then I call my mom and I'm like, mommy, can you help me out here with this man? And so then she comes out, and then, you know, he's like, oh, you know, you guys are not supposed to be here because you don't pay for the pool. We do. The people from the second part of the complex pay for the pool, and you guys don't pay anything, you know. And then he started yelling at my mom, saying all of the shit, and I was like, okay, I'm not having this. And then my mom was like, oh, you know, it's okay, like, we didn't know. And then this man started, like, kept yelling, and then he said, oh, they should have told you that when you got the house. And then my mom was like, oh, you know, we didn't know, like, we're sorry, this is never gonna happen again, blah, blah, blah. And then he kept yelling, and then he kept getting on my nerves. And then I was like, sir, get the fuck out of my house and get the fuck out of my face. Thank you. I walk inside my house, and then my mom yells at me because I left the duck outside. And so I was like, I'm not about to apologize to that man because he's being rude as fuck. And he called the police for no fucking reason. And then she was like, I don't know what you're gonna do, so just pick the duck and bring it inside and wait for the police to come here because he called the police and they're on their way. So I was like, whatever. I hear knocking on the door and I'm like, okay, that's the police. I guess it's time. So then I put my bitch mood on because I was like nervous and I was scared and I didn't want the police to sense some type of fear. So I opened the door and there was an old lady and then a big guy, like a big bald guy behind her. And she was like, oh, may I talk to your mom? And I'm like, okay, yeah, just give me 1 second. So then I went to pick up my mom. She came, and then the police was on, and then the old lady officer was like, oh, so what happened? And then my mom explained what happened. And then the police was like, okay, turns around, looks at the guy, looks at me, and says, so what happened? And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, bitch, didn't my mom just tell you what happened? Like, why do you have to ask me? Like, what the fuck? So then I was like, the pool and whatever, and then I was having an amazing time, and then this man right here started chasing me to my house, yelling, screaming at me, and then started to argue with my mother, so I wasn't having that. And then she was like, oh, you know that you're not supposed to be at the pool or whatever. And I'm like, well, I didn't know, because every time I go there with my friend, there's no problem. And she goes like, oh, then I guess that's because your friend is from the second part of the complex and she has access, so I guess. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And then my mom starts to put up a show, starts crying. And then basically my mom and the officer had a talk, and then the officer looked at me and she was like, oh, you see, you have your mom crying out here, this isn't that. So then the officer gave me like a 15-minute speech about how I should respect my parents and blah blah blah. And then after they were done with that, they were like, okay, so you got everything clear, right? And I'm like, I mean I've never had a problem, so what the fuck. And then the officer was like, you've never had access to a pool, and you're not going to, and you're banned from the pool, and if we ever get a call again, you're gonna get into serious trouble, because that was private property trespassing, or trespassing, I don't know how to say the word. So, you know, you're gonna be in trouble if we get another call. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And then they were like, okay, have a good day. And then I was like, okay, whatever. And then I slammed the door in front of them. And then my mom like started yelling at me. You know Hispanic moms, how they work. And then basically, yeah, so that happened, and I haven't been into the pool since that incident happened. So if I go to the pool again and something happened, I will keep you guys updated, I guess. Actually, I have a huge announcement before I go. So if you like cool and trendy Tumblr clothing, you can go onto xoaestheticshop.com and use my offer code Harvey10 to get 10% off your purchase. That is it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a big thumbs up. You already know the deal with that. Also, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the bell button as well, so you can get notified every time I post a new video. I will leave the links to all of my social media accounts in the description box below, so you can go ahead and follow me, stalk my shit, like my pictures, do all of that. I hope you have an amazing fucking day. Remember that I love you so much, and that I'm grateful that you actually stopped by to watch this video. So yeah, I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.